It's a while since I recommended the last book that I did, Kenopanishad, and hope many of you have had a chance to pick it up and benefit from it immensely in your life. It is a real gem. And if you haven't, please do. Today, I want to speak about another such gem, and I love both the book, the subject it is on, and the author's work. I'm going to talk about I'm okay, you're okay, and this is one of my top recommendations for you because it takes you very deep into the science of transactional analysis, and it's one of the best pieces of work of Thomas Harris, who is one of the most illustrious people in this area of work, psychotherapy, understanding human behavior, and someone who directly learned from the founder of transactional analysis. So, hope you pick this book up and you benefit immensely from it. And here are my reasons of recommending this. Number one, and this is the foremost reason, most of us do not get a chance to go learn psychology formally, and hence whatever we do in our life, our understanding of behavior, people, interactions, etc., are fairly based on generic understanding, generic knowledge, some hearsay here and there, little tidbits that we have seen in videos, etc. This one book will be a big and fairly comprehensive introduction for you into the science of human behavior, because transactional analysis studies very deeply human interactions, and through understanding of intrapersonal communication and transactions, it helps you gain a window into the intrapersonal phenomena. Truly, transactional analysis is one of the most complete subjects in itself in psychology, which tells you everything from what needs to be understood about the development of a human all the way to helping us correct our behavioral anomalies on the other hand. So, for that reason, for being a complete comprehensive introduction to human psychology and a complete comprehensive introduction to the thinking of transactional analysis, I would recommend this book for you. That's my top reason. The second top reason is, as you work with this book, you will get some very simple language that you can pick up on. The entire subject of transactional analysis does this. It reduces the amount of clinical language and labeling that is usually done in typical psychotherapy, counseling, etc. That's something that transactional analysis does in general. But in this book, again, Thomas Harris introduces us to the concept of okayness and the okay chorale, where he talks about these 4 life positions that we get into. And that language is so easy to understand that as you read through those parts of the book, it is therapeutic. You'll automatically come to understand where you have had challenges with your own life, where you have internalized certain messages that possibly are being detrimental to your progress, your interaction with others, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, all of that. And there are 3 life positions which he discusses that most of us formulate very unconsciously, and it's just a reaction to the world, where he talks about I am not okay, you are okay, or I am okay, you are not okay, or I am not okay, you are not okay. And after discussing those 3 life positions, Harris helps us understand through the science of transactional analysis how a decision can be made in adult life, which is I am okay, you're okay, and that can be a very liberating decision for us. And from that point in time, we can handle our life much differently. So some of that's my second top reason. So the simplicity of language and this comprehensive understanding of life position that he gives us to in this book. The third and the final reason why I would suggest you pick this up is because the fundamental model of transactional analysis, which is the ego states, the PAC analysis, and it's a very fundamental element of transactional analysis. Thomas Harris presents that with amazing lucidity and clarity for us. He has spoken about this in terms of how children and the PAC can be looked at, how our relationships can be looked at, how our healing and our change can be looked at. Thomas Harris, in fact, he even discusses how the morals and value formation can be looked at from the ego state model, which is PAC. And this again gives us such amazing clarity that we can literally understand how the fabric of our mind is working, why we are making the decisions that we are making, why we are reacting the way we are reacting, why we possibly have some of the challenges in our own self with relationships, with work, etc. So all of those understandings come in with the way he's dealt with the ego states model and its connections to various aspects of our life. So if you have always wanted, or if you have felt the need to understand human psychology, understand it through some very simple language and a way to understand your whole life comprehensively, and understand how to really handle your consistent ways of thinking, feeling, and acting, which is how we in transactional analysis see ego states. If you want to change that, then here is one book which is the greatest of all times, I would say, on the subject for you to understand. That is Thomas Harris's I Am Okay, You Are Okay. Pick this up, read it, benefit from this. And I said this in the beginning that it was an amazing jewel in that I discovered, and it's been my top favorite. In fact, I remember that this was way back in 2003 when I was very new to the subject of psychology. I didn't even know much about it, that I happened to land happened to pick this book up. I read one page and I couldn't put it down. In 2.5 days, I had read it. For the next couple of weeks, I was working with this. And that was the day when transactional analysis came into my life, other than the day when I found my own teacher in transactional analysis. And through her, again, transactional analysis took a deep root in my own life. And I can tell you this, life has never been the same for me with the way I understand people, with the way I work. So my journey into counseling, therapy, being a coach, being a facilitator, doing leadership work, doing culture change, and then also running businesses, being a strategy consultant, transactional analysis has played a big role. And my first step into this was this book, I'm Okay, You're Okay, from Thomas Harris. I'm sure the amount of benefits that I have seen, you would see similar or maybe even much more with this. So do pick this book up. I'm Okay, You're Okay, Thomas Harris.